Are you thinking of selling your home in this housing market shift? We're going to run through some tips that you need to know if you're thinking, should I sell my home right now? Hey there, Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. We've been helping buyers and sellers make the best decisions in this crazy market. Hey, stop right there. Don't navigate away. Just because we're real estate agents, we're not going to tell everyone we meet to sell. But the truth is, in any given market, especially a market like this, there are people who it does make sense for them to sell. So even though we're seeing an increase in interest rates and an increase in inventory and homes are taking longer to sell, what we're actually getting to is what's known as a normal market. We're going back to what the numbers were like in 2018 and 2019, and you need to be reminded what it was like to sell back then. Two quick things before we get started. Number one is we can't give tax or legal advice, but for the most honest and up-to-date real estate advice, subscribe to this channel. And number two is we're specifically talking about the sale of your home or your primary residence. We have other content for our investor clients, and we encourage you to check that out as well. So if you're ready for tips about selling in the shifting housing market, hit that like button and let's get started. One of the biggest complaints that sellers had during the crazy days was, where am I going to go if I sell because of the extreme lack of inventory? That's what's nice about this market. As inventory increases and we get closer to a more normal market, sellers will actually have a choice in the next home that they buy. In fact, we're getting back to the good old days where a potential seller who needs to buy may be able to convince a seller to actually let them sell their current home, known as a contingent sale. We used to do these in the good old days, and those are coming back. The first important tip in the shifting housing market is homes are taking longer to sell. And this isn't a bad thing. We're getting back to a more realistic timeline, which means there will be some additional time at the front of the sale. Homes that disappear in a week in this crazy market we just left now will take a couple weeks, maybe 30 to even 45 days to sell. So just make sure that your timing factors this in. So on the front end, it will now take longer to sell. During the crazy days, it was easy for sellers to ask for things like 60 free days of rent while they stay in the house while they're looking for something else. That's probably gone in most markets. So you're going to want to factor that in as well. You may need to know where you're going to go, or you may need to offer to pay money if you need additional time. Another important thing is don't forget to factor in time. If escrow falls out, the deal falls apart, you need some additional time to get the property back under contract. It may not be instant like it was in this previous boom. It may take some extra time. So factor that in. Give yourself a little wiggle room in timing. It will now be a longer, slower process in getting a home sold. Number two is prepping your home. In every market, even this crazy seller's market that we're just leaving, a home that is turnkey or at the very least clean always nets more money. And that's what you're going to need to make sure that there may be some simple things you can do, whether it's sprucing up landscaping, painting, maybe you do some remodeling of some sort. Make sure that you add time into your calendar so that you factor this additional prep time in, and it will pay off. There is no downside to having a home that's either turnkey or at the very least as clean as it can be with what's original. You will always net more, especially in the market that we're going into right now. And in this prep time, it isn't all just about the house and the physical structure itself. Make sure you're checking other things, like you're making sure on title there's no tax liens or clouds on title. Also making sure, for example, there's no HOA or code violations for the property as well. So all of these will be important things to do in the prep time so that when it's under contract, it goes as smoothly as possible. Number three is pricing. Pricing will be more important than ever. Now, when we come out of this extreme seller's market, you basically could pick any number under the sun just about, maybe $100,000 over what your last neighbor sold for, and you were going to get multiple offers. That has changed. So now you're going to have to be more strategic in pricing, and that means pricing at market value or maybe even on the lower end of market value in order to generate offers. Remember, like we always say, you can't sell a home without offers. And pricing is going to be a big part of it. With the right pricing, you can generate multiple offers literally in any market. Even during the REO days and the global financial crisis, there were properties with multiple offers, and it's all about pricing. And don't forget that appraisals will matter again during the crazy seller's market days when buyers were waiving appraisal contingency and bringing additional money to the table to cover any gap in the appraisal. Those are gone. So now the appraisal will be important. And if everything's looking good on the home, but you're not getting the showings and offers that you expect, be prepared to adjust the price. You're going to have to be more proactive in a market like this. Values are definitely going to slow down in their increase, and depending on what happens, could even turn the other way and start to go backwards. You need to be proactive in pricing to make sure that you're not trying to catch a falling knife. Number 4 is don't forget about taxes. We've just come through a time with record levels of appreciation, and it's entirely possible that you have some gain that may be taxable. Now, we've done other content on this. The Section 121 exclusion allows you as a single person to exclude $250,000 in gain, and married couples $500,000. So it's very important that you sit down with your CPA or financial planner and come up with a plan in order to avoid paying as much in taxes, and or at the very least knowing what your tax bill is going to be, because you don't want that surprise at the end of escrow or when you're filing your taxes. And if you're in the state of California, Prop 19 allows you to potentially transfer your property tax basis onto the next home. Make sure you check out this video about that. And number 5 is picking the best agent that you can to help manage this process. Now, this is a time where experience comes in. We've just come from an extreme seller's market. It'll go to a normal market. You need an experienced real estate agent who's been in a normal market and maybe some tougher markets who can help you properly position the property, price it, get it under contract, and get it sold for top dollar. That's why it's important to have the right professional in your corner. And if that buyer is not going to perform, it's important to have an agent who has the experience to get them out of there and get you moved on to the next one, because time is not your friend in a more normal market. Of course, we are real estate agents based in Southern California, and we can help you here. If you have needs outside of Southern California, we can vet and help find the right agent who's going to take amazing care of you. We have a link below so you can reach out to us for that help. Let us know in the comments below, are you thinking of selling in this shifting housing market, or are you going to wait for something else? Let us know what it is you're waiting for. We have a link below so you can subscribe to our free weekly email newsletter where we cover topics that will keep you informed as we get further into 2022 and beyond, and the housing market continues to shift. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.